It's really, what, so, so then, so that's the first page, and this is possible, but. So I put in example things, but they're all from their shit. Oh, God. It's like where I would do one where like making up things for children and like way too much. Here. We're gonna do, I think you can. Oh, you were my. You're here. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so Allie, you're the only person here so far. This is flip-flop. Everyone was here yesterday and you weren't, and now it's you. No, not everyone, but people were here and you weren't, and now you're here and nobody else is here. So, um, do you have any questions or anything about the assignment so far? We've gotten through LinkedIn cover letters and resumes. Do you have stuff that I need to look at for you?
I know I made like a new LinkedIn profile, so I just have to update it with like my picture, which I was just gonna wait until I got like a nice one.
Yeah,
So I redid my resume and my cover letter. The only thing is I haven't had a chance to check my notes on it just to like update it or anything or see.
sure.
Um, but like yeah, that stuff is updated. Um, so I basically like have all of it. It's just I just need to like my LinkedIn needs to get updated all the way, but like I don't know, I need to do like finishing, tweaking touches to my resume. And then I also want to like have my portfolio website up so that could be like a thing that they can go to. It's finished. I just have to deploy it. So
Okay, cool. So this, like the class has been basically I teach some slides about the concept, what you need to do for resume, cover letter, whatever, but then it's just work time. So I think maybe if you want to work on any of those updates or tweaks or anything that you want to do, and then I can review them. Like when you finish them, you can send it to me. I'll take a look. And also Mike is here to do the mock interviews. So when he gets finished with these three, he could jump on with you virtually. So, and then once those are finished, then I'll jump into the modules for today. And so basically, if you want to just turn off your mic and camera while you're working on that stuff, and then I'll ping you again when he's back and finish with them, which I think will probably take maybe an hour to get there.
sorry, I didn't
That's
realize I
okay.
was oh yeah. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take a I've been wanting to take a look at my resume and my cover letter over just because I wrote
Yeah.
like a standard cover letter and I seen that like we should try to make them a little bit more personalized for every
Yeah.
job. So I don't know. I have like a basic one, but that's the thing. Like I've seen like a couple jobs that I've been kind of interested in, but I'm so anxious about applying. Like
Yeah.
I, I don't know.
You and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have if you want to make any changes you want to it, have me look at it again. And then or if you have any questions about anything on it, let me know. And you can also, if you want to skim past like take the time to review the recordings from the last 2 days. Because I talk about a lot of stuff that isn't like right in the slides and stuff. So you could kind of scan through there. There's not a whole lot of talking. If you can just skim over to those parts where I am talking about it, it shouldn't take too long. So you could also do that to catch up on the last 2 days of class.
Okay, yeah. I had started like I know the first day a little bit and then yesterday was crazy,
Yeah.
so
No
but
worries.
yeah, no, I'll probably just do that real quick and then see like what you guys touched up on, like major points and
Yeah.
then
Yeah. And then I'll check in with you. Like I said, I think I'm gonna guess about an hour. Either way, I'll check in with you, see how you're doing. But if you have any questions or anything, just unmute or send a chat message or something. And we'll check back in with you a little bit.
okay.
Okay. See you soon.
All right.
Hey, Rain, how are you? You there? How am I muted? Hey, Rain, can you hear me?
Anyone do the interview yet? If so, how was it?
Taylor.
Taylor? Hey.
Yeah, hang on a second. Oh, he keeps getting, well, here, use mine. Hold on.
That's if you're not allowed to be in here, buddy. Right.
Class early.
Right?
Hello, everyone. So I just did my interview and I feel like it went pretty good. He gave some pretty good feedback with mine, and I feel like I can take that into my next one pretty well.
How was the technical questions for you?
Actually, he didn't really do any technical questions. Like, I think the most technical one he asked me was to just write out one SQL line to pull addresses from a table called addresses, but only the ones where the address is in New York. So
Mhm.
that's about as technical as I got.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause I was.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
That was amazing. Trip was awesome.
And that's where you did the kind of like collected the storybooks,
Well, I don't.
or was it?
That was here. Let me just-
Yeah, Shannon is doing hers right now, so when she comes back, we can have her report back also. She's been gone for a while, but she was long with Max too. She had a lot of questions.
Max is in today?
No, he did yesterday. But
Oh,
if you want to interview with him, just send him a message.
Yeah, I seen what he put on the CIC 5. Yes, so
Yeah.
definitely a one-on-one.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey guys. Oh no, it's not.
Hey, Shannon.
Hi.
How was it?
So I just got out of my interview and I came out of it alive. Everything's fine.
I was gonna say, it seemed like
Um,
promising,
it
yeah.
it was funny because he said to me, he's like, you have anxiety, don't you? And I said, yes, yes, I do. But it actually got better as I went and I got a lot more comfortable. I was able to kind of joke around with him.
Nice.
But I found when he was like, what do you want to do? And because I was like, yeah, front end development, but he mentioned project management and I was talking about that. And so at the end, he was like, it actually sounds like you're more interested in doing that. So I feel like I wasn't clear about some things, but
Mhm.
overall it seemed to go pretty well. Yeah.
Did you have any technical questions?
If you have if anybody's got any questions, I can try to answer it, but that's all I got.
Well, no, did Mr. Maria like actually like technical questions? I can't hear. I think you're on mute. Can you guys hear me? Am I on mute? Oh, I don't know. Oh, you're on mute. Crap. Shannon, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I was asking Shannon something and then I guess she went on mute and I don't know if she heard me or not. Can you hear me now? I just see it like everyone moving and chatting and maybe I am on mute. No. Well, I don't know. I give up. How about now? Anything?
Yeah.
Sorry, Wayne, I was still muted from when Shannon was talking.
Did you hear anything?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Did you hear me earlier? A second
No.
ago? Oh, well, okay. All right. No, I was still speaking with Shannon and I was asking her about her interview and then it just all mute. So maybe with connection, I don't know.
Oh,
But,
weird.
yeah. Shannon, what I was asking you was, did you also have a technical question?
Did you get asked a technical? She did not.
Oh, okay.
So I imagine that he's probably gonna gauge each person, and if he feels like you could field it, he probably will ask you. And if you want one, I would say just ask him to give you one.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, he said he was going to like ask you what kind of roles you were interested in, and then he would base his interview on that. So I think she was more towards project management after he talked to her, so would probably be less likely to ask a technical question.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
So he's on the 1, 2, 3, third person, and there's still Palash and Danny here. So probably be another 40 minutes. So really up to you if you want to keep working, work on your capstone, your portfolio, any of the things that you need to complete and get done. And I'll still be here for questions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, sure.
Okay, Rain and Ally, are you there? Brandy just came back from hers.
Oh, no.
If you'd
I
like
was
a report
watching it
out.
Beside you.
Oh, that's awful. Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna mute so you can talk.
I mean, it was fine.
Okay.
Okay. I just had my mock interview and it was different questions from what Max asked yesterday. But it was the feedback he gave me afterwards was definitely helpful because I definitely approached this interview a little more like interviews I've had in the past, I think, in a way that this is definitely more like retail wants certain things out of you, and something like this, they want more to know, I think, like where your head's at, so to speak. They want to know what your mentality is and if you're going to be compatible working the same way that their company works. So I feel like it was different in that aspect, but the way that the answers I came up with seemed to work. I don't know. It wasn't too bad. I've had worse. If anyone has any questions, feel free.
Here, I can show you my stuff.
Sure.
So.
I have a question. Do you guys think like the interviews are like I know we probably all have like we all are nervous initially, but do you think it's like a little bit easier because it's like people that we know? Like
The one with Max yesterday was not terrible, but only I think because I already knew how he works. You know, the one today was definitely a little harder because I'm like, okay, I don't know this person at all. They don't know me. There's no inherent understanding of anything at all. And so that made it a little more similar to a real interview. But yeah.
And then you choose the photo.
It was different.
it just makes me think. Sorry. I just I don't know, like interviews are so like
That's actually had me.
Oh, I hate interviews. So
they're the worst.
I freeze up.
But like I find that like what's really helpful is trying to find like something that you could like relate to. Cause I used to work in sales, like when I used to work at Cricket.
And
If you can find anything that like personally like that you can relate to, like it really helps just like breaking the ice and then go from there, like even just leading into something like after being asked a question. But like I don't know, like it's just I had to ask because I'm like, I feel like it'll be a little bit easier because like, you know, you already have like that connection with like the teachers and stuff and some of like the TAs. So like, I don't know, it just makes me more nervous for like the real one.
Done with my interview yesterday with Max. He told me two main things. That I ramble and when I don't like know what I'm saying and I don't have it planned out, I talk way slower. And he's like, you are the only person I've been able to keep up with making notes. And I'm like, whoops. But so there's when you interview with someone you know, the feedback you get after, because he's like, you're not usually like this. You've been in class, you've been in one-on-ones, you can speak coherently. I'm like, yes. He's like, this is not normally how you speak, so you just need to like, I'm like, it's the anxiety.
So yes.
Gotcha. So block it.
Yeah, we use the blog one and.
Yeah, so these are all reasons why we want you to do the mock interviews, because you get that feedback, but also get through some of those initial talking to strangers jitters. 'Cause it is so much like with the TAs with Max, you're comfortable, but can you imagine interviewing with Max if you don't know him? It'd be terrifying.
I'm like, okay, yes, I'm trying to get it, like, get it. But yeah, so that's what it looks like, and yeah. Was there
So
anything
he's
else you
on
wanted
second to last person, and then he'll be coming for you guys, Ally and Wayne.
And it was when he was doing it, I'm watching
No.
Allie, are you ready to try doing a mock interview?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let me tell you about it.
Yeah, that's the big thing, like, especially like getting an entry level, like, the biggest headache is knowing someone can actually freaking do something and get something done.
Yeah.
Right? And the capstone's kind of.
I I don't know. I'm kind of really nervous. Like I just
Everybody's nervous.
I
I know. She's right here. She's right here.
Look,
He's the guy.
look, I'm an asshole, fuck me. So don't worry about it.
I don't know if that helps, but he's
He's a delight.
he's not professional.
all right. I guess I don't. Can it be like a quick interview, like maybe like a first interview or something like that? Or...
Oh, yeah, it's only 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. You want to do it from here?
If she doesn't mind, sure.
Okay.
I'm not.
I don't know, I'm so nervous. Oh my
Been
god.
5 years, not working for you. Hey, I'm Mike. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Alize.
Hey, Alize?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And so for this, for simulation purposes here, right? What job are you applying for?
So I've been looking at like entry-level software engineer positions and more specifically like positions that have to do with like React, Node, stuff that focuses around like C plus, HTML, so maybe like more front end stuff.
Okay, so front end developer. We'll
Yeah.
go with that. We'll go with that. And then for context, the simulation here is, so I'm Mike DiMaria. I am founder and CEO of Nan.net Internet Services. We're a consultancy that clients come to us. They might need like a website built, or they might need to modify their site or integrate with some sort of streaming platform or something like that. And so we do project work where we come in, we do the stuff for them, we hand the stuff off to them. That's kind of like the position this company is taking. You saw in the news that we just raised $10 million of venture capital. We're looking to expand pretty big. And from what it looks of it, we have like 50 to 60 employees, give or take.
Okay.
So that's the context of the company you just applied for.
Okay.
It's all fake. I don't have $10 million. So that is the context. So tell me about yourself.
So a little bit about myself. I started a boot camp program a couple months ago, which really inspired me to make a big leap into a different career path.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I've been looking for positions where I can showcase the skills that I've learned and have utilized and maintained throughout the almost a year now that I've been in this program. I'm a really enthusiastic person. I don't know, I'm kind of nervous right now, but
Oh, that's okay.
I feel like I'm just, as an individual, I'm a good asset. I feel like I'm a well-rounded person, and I also feel like I work hard. So yeah.
Sounds good. What was your previous career path?
So before I did a lot of financial work. I started working when I was around 12, and I started working in the grocery store. So I worked at a couple grocery stores, and then I just got promoted up to like like customer service roles. And also I've worked in like a financial institution, not necessarily a bank, but sort of like they handled banking type of work. So I have a background in finance.
Okay. So code's a bit of a change. What's attracting you to the coding career path? Why change careers?
I've just always been interested in computers. So it's just always been a big part of my life. I've always considered working with computers as a career choice. It just, growing up, it wasn't something that was, I guess, out there on the market right then and there to reach out and do it. I kind of focused more on roles that I knew that I already had skills in, that I would like excel in. So I wasn't really ready to put myself on the line and learn something new per se, but now seeing with how everything's going and how much time I actually spend using technology, it just seems like the right thing to do for myself. It just seems natural.
Okay. What do you like about coding?
I really like the problem solving aspect of it. And also I like seeing the code that I'm writing show up on the front end. So I like seeing those results, which is I'm big on problem solving. So being able to see myself working through the code and seeing that things that I'm doing are actually making a difference. And also just being able to get through something on my own is it's a very rewarding feeling.
Okay. Tell me about some problems you've solved recently then, because I'm sure as part of the course you probably did something project work or maybe something on the side. So what's a problem you recently solved?
So for the course, we all had to build a capstone, which has to be completely full stack. The biggest problem that I had was trying to get everything flowing the way that it should, just before launch. And that really was my biggest issue, because working through the HTML and CSS, that was a breeze and stuff. It really was connecting my database and making the front end and the back end connect, and also having that synchronized with the database. That was my biggest challenge. And I stayed up probably all night for about a week, working through that, going through the code, trying to figure out what everything meant. And I finally did it. And it was the greatest feeling ever.
So what techniques did you use to overcome that blocking? How do you figure it out? What do you do?
Well, I had to go over a lot of errors. I used a lot of previous class videos to help me, a lot of my old notes. Also, just going back through syntax to really understand the code that I was writing, which was the biggest thing. So actually knowing why I'm using this block of code, why I'm using a function, why I'm using try statements, or why I'm console logging things out, actually seeing how that stuff helps in implementing it into the code. That was really it.
Okay. How do you use the console log to help you?
Well, so for my project, I was having a hard time seeing where the data was. And I noticed that I just was writing code and then hoping that the results would show. And I know, like, we worked a lot on writing console logs in class, but I just working through the code so fast that I'm not taking the time out to actually like debug and actually like see if it works. So that's kind of like another challenge for me that I'm working on now, is just making sure that I go step by step and actually like putting those console logs in, because I need to be able to see the data to know what I'm doing with it. I need to know where it's at. I need to know if it's showing up properly. And I really learned the importance of that working over that project. It really showed me the importance of like all the steps of being able to have a full stack project, because you can't just minimize any one thing. Like you really have to take time with all the parts.
Where do you see your career in 5 years from now? Not
5
not necessarily at this company, but where do you want your career to be?
Honestly, I have a big interest in data analysis. So I would like to go into data engineering, but I already have kind of like a niche focus, I guess, which concerns like collecting data about how like the entertainment industry and music affects people and their behaviors. And I just would like to collect that info and then do something with the numbers. I'm not really sure, but I just know that it's like a big research project that I want to do. So
Okay. What type of manager would you thrive most under?
What type of manager?
Yeah, would you thrive under the most? What would you be most what type of manager or management style would make you the most successful?
I think managers who are really, I like people in authority who are kind of stern, but also like it's a loving type of energy. So, they want to get the job done, but they really have they really care for their team.
Mhm.
Like it's not just, oh, well, come into work and, get this done. It's like, all right, everybody, we got a plan. Here's how everybody is going to fit into the plan. Here's how we all contribute. Nobody like, everybody's has equal parts and everybody has equal rewards. There's not really like any funny business. And also like, I'm one of those people who likes I like when I go to do work, I like work to get done. So like,
Mhm.
things can be cool and fun, but I like a manager who just remembers that, yeah, it's nice to be a little bit laid back if you have the work environment where where things are actively getting done. So.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that might be an interesting segue into the next question. We're a consultancy. We have a couple of different business models we use. One of them is we do flat fee project work, where the customer pays us a certain amount, and no matter how long we take to build it, doesn't matter, they get at the end for that price. The other model we use is hourly. Takes 5 hours, they pay 5 hours, 10 hours, just like you would for like an automotive place or like paying a lawyer or something like that. Of those two project styles, which would you prefer to work with?
I think I would go more so with an hourly rate. And the only reason that I feel this way is because I have to really manage my time a certain way to
Mhm.
maximize it. So I think having like a set amount for a project and not knowing how long you'll actually have to work on that is kind of, some might not see it this way, but I kind of see it as taking a loss, whereas I might have the incentive to work more hours and dedicate more time out of my day elsewhere to this
Mhm.
project because I'm actually getting paid. Like, there's more of an incentive. So I might work more hours than I anticipated, or that, like there's a
Well, the
set.
customer anticipated, because
Yeah.
they have to pay for every hour you use,
Yeah.
Um,
But I'm actually getting paid for that.
well, yeah. And of course, like, we pay our salary no matter what. So it doesn't, from your paycheck standpoint, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
which is a good thing. Okay. Have you worked with a bunch of team members before, or have you been more of a solo? I don't have your resume in front of me, so I'm not, I don't know your work history. We
Yeah,
worked on a team.
I'm
Have you worked on
sorry.
a team? Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Have you worked on a team before or with team
Yeah.
members?
Yeah. So I've actually done both. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty I can work efficiently either way. Like I'm can adjust to working in a team. I can also work by myself. I'm pretty well adjustable in a wide range of scenarios. So it could be a larger group, a smaller
So
group.
if you're on all right, so if you're on a team, a lot of times with teams, conflicts come up, disagreements, stuff like that. Tell me about a time you might have had a conflict or a disagreement with a team member, or maybe you had to like witness one, and maybe what you might have done to deal with that.
Okay, yeah. So I can use a past experience from a job that I actually had where
Oh,
um,
perfect.
working as like a customer service desk associate, like it's
Mm-hmm.
really a tight knit group. So if there's a conflict amongst people like in the office, I should say, then usually like we all know about it. So I one time had a manager who actually had a problem with another manager.
Mm-hmm.
And she one day had came to me and she said something about, well, one of them came to me and said something about the other. And I just listened. And then The other came to me a different time and asked me if I had heard that this person was talking about them. So I would say that that's a pretty like conflicting situation to be in, because it's like, well, do I say what I've heard or do I? But
Mhm.
in that situation, I chose to just stay out of it. And how I did approach it was that I didn't hear anything that was purposefully malicious. Maybe that that there was some things that the two could talk it out about. And then when I seen the other coworker, I did tell her that they should have a conversation. So I did try to resolve the problem as best as I could, because I felt like I was, somebody that both people felt like they could come to about it.
Mhm.
And that's how I handled the situation. They both ended up actually talking about it and resolved the issue, and I was present for that. So it did go pretty well. And then after that,
Okay.
things went smoothly.
Did you have to deal with angry customers yelling at you? Because we
Yeah.
have to.
Yes, definitely.
What's some things you did to diffuse the situation?
So I used to, just quick backstory, at the same job, I used to cash checks. So on the weekends, it would get super busy. Sometimes we would run out of money. Sometimes
Mhm.
people checks wouldn't go through. Mind you, these are people's paychecks. People have bills to pay. People have things to do, spend money on groceries, kids. People would come in. Sometimes their check would be declined or we wouldn't have any money. And I know that will frustrate people. That's the thing. Working in customer service, I feel like it's one of the jobs where you really have to take your own emotions out of things. So like empathy is always like the biggest thing that you have to, embody when when you're working with people personally. So what I would do is just calmly, soft tone, excuse me,
Mhm.
your checks not going through. And then also, I would just make a recommendation for another location. If they got angry, I would calmly express sorry, like there's nothing that I can do about it. I'm not in a position to do it. And then if it got to a point where it was out of my control, I would call over somebody else higher up that could de-escalate the situation.
Okay. We have just a few minutes left. Do you have any questions for me? And this is me, like the guy interviewing you, not me, the person helping hack up state. We'll get into that after. Yeah, just for context. So, as the hiring manager, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, so I just was wondering, like, what is the work environment like? So is it remote? Do we come into the office? Is it kind of like hybrid style? I also
Yes. So our current model, the way we're currently operating is we're mostly remote, but we like to get together every couple of months. So at least we prefer like every like 6 months or so for like 2 or 3 days. We get together, team build, plan out the rest of the year, and go forth like that. Most of us are located in the greater Syracuse area. It's not a job requirement to live in Syracuse, but we do want to have people occasionally come in. Um, we are expanding out a little bit here and there. We are not authorized to work in every state, so you can't just like move to Wyoming next week. And we do have a small offshore development team that we do work with as well. So we do have a few offshore developers who basically work during our morning hours. So there's a small overlap of time when we're both kind of working together.
okay. I also just I noticed earlier you said you have two different packages. So
Mhm.
I was wanted to inquire about compensation. Is it a different rate based on which package or
You are paid a salary. The customer pays us depending on which one we do. But for you, because you are an employee of the company, you are a W-2 employee, you're not a contractor, you're not a contract role. It doesn't make a difference from your side.
okay.
Now, your manager is going to care, and like they're going to care more about the hourly ones because like if you got to produce, to keep the customer happy, the flat rate, like if it takes you 50 hours to do something on a flat rate, the customer doesn't notice. But so, so like that might have an influence there, but in terms of like how you do, no, your paycheck the same either way.
Okay. I also have another question. I just wanted to know what customer interactions were like between like the company and customers. Is it like are a lot of the relationships good, long lasting? Like, do we have customers coming back, or do they just need certain jobs and then
It's a little mix at the moment. We are relatively new. We have a lot of smaller customers, which are trouble. We have a couple of big long-term customers that we have to keep really, really, really happy because they bring us a lot of money. They're a reliable source. In general, it's been relatively positive or relatively okay. We are finding the customers are a little more demanding and less willing to make up their minds initially and want to do a lot of project changes, project scope over time, more so than we really would prefer. So like that's one of the troubles that we're currently facing as a company, dealing with that. As a developer, we do let you talk to the customer. Some other places out there, developers never talk to the customer. It always goes through a project manager liaison. We don't do that. We let you talk to the customer directly, which is why like conflict resolution for us and de-escalation is an important one thing that I'm looking for.
okay. That's understandable.
Mhm.
That's definitely something that I can provide. One last question is I forgot the question.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
But good news because we're out of time. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what you're nervous about initially because you did just fine.
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
really.
I'm
No, I
just-
mean, really. No, really. You did perfectly well. I mean,
I know, you just nailed that. That
you
was
know?
awesome.
No, yeah, it was definitely good. I do like, going through the things. I do like that it sounds like you thought about coding and the experience of coding and being a coder. It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like you're one of the people just chasing money, thinking this is
Yeah.
an easy career path. It sounds like you actually put thought into this, which is something I appreciate as someone hiring an entry level person. Um, and you kind of like highlighted how you're improving your skills over time and how you're doing the problem solving and finding solutions. So that definitely is helpful. As a way of going about. I thought the conflict answer, the first one you gave about the managers, I thought that was a little weak of like a response because it kind of just sounded like you're just like, hey, you can let them deal with it.
Okay.
On the opposite side, the customer service side of things really was a much better highlight, talking about empathy and all that. So like that really that was a much better answer, and really highlighted like really came to the heart of that question. So that was really a good way to bring in, and it brings in your existing career path. And this is one of the things with career transitioners, right? You have to bring in what you've done in the past and you have to kind of bring those skills and say, how is that going to benefit me over here in this new career path? And what am I carrying into it? And that's like one of those things that you're pulling forward from your previous career. Because you're not really starting out. This is not like your new first job. You got a set of skills already you're bringing in, and that's one of the skills you bring in.
Okay, that's good feedback. I'm so nervous during interviews. Like it's like
And you know what? And I
nervous.
gotta admit, and yeah, I know, and you said that, and like, and like it didn't, as we were going through, and there's no stakes here, right? So it's like that nervousness didn't come off during the interview, but I can tell, like, that's concerning. That is something you're gonna have to work on to overcome. Because in a real interview situation, you're probably going to get into that state. And really, when you think about it, the interview is not necessarily like, I got to hit this or not. It's basically dating. It's about it's like, do I want to live here with these people, with these coworkers for 8 hours a day, for 40 hours, and it's like, is this going to work? Are you going to meet my needs? Am I going to meet your needs? And then combine together. And that's really what the whole thing of the interview is. And maybe if you have that mindset of like, is this going to work? Should we form a business relationship? Should we? That's what the interview is for. And it's bi-directional, right? It's not just, do I need you? It's like, does your company work for me too? And so I think maybe with that mindset, maybe that might alleviate some of that nervousness, to say, really, it's like, should we pursue this? Is this going to work? It's probably not going to, it might not work as a strategy, but it could work.
No, I definitely understand. And it's really helpful just I think in taking some of the way, I'm sorry. I am nervous, but
No, that's okay.
yeah, just taking away some of the initial nervousness by just remembering that it's just, like you're just here to talk.
I
Like
know, and look, I don't want to minimize, and I don't want to minimize. I know it is nerve-wracking because every interview I've gone on, I've always been like, I need this, I got a mortgage to pay. Like, I get it, it's easy to say, don't be nervous. I know. And it's the last thing I want to stress is that like everyone doing interviews does a different style. Everyone has a different set of career advice. Everyone has different preferences. Everyone has a different idea. I'm giving you what I think is the right answer, but I'm not saying I have the right answer. So it's up to you to mold like this and what other people, if you interview with Max yesterday, take all this career advice and kind of like merge it together to figure out what the truth is. Because I don't know if anything I'm saying tonight is the true way of doing it.
okay.
So just for a concept.
Thank you.
Sure. All right.
Okay, well, Green rushed over here so she could speak with you.
How are you?
I don't know what you were talking about. You didn't seem nervous at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
And-
go into like this weird like
You want this
it's like a robot mode, but I'm still like kind of self-aware.
Yeah, everybody's nervous about interviewing. I mean, it's pressure, right? Someone's judging you and looking at you, and did I say this right, or did I forget to say something I wanted to say? So it is hard, but I think for me, like, keep repeating when we start it. Like, this might not even be the job I want. I have coached so many people into their dream job, and 6 months later they hate it. So if you get so focused on like, I have to have this job, you forget to interview them. You forget that like maybe this isn't even the job, right? The universe knows better than you do. If you don't get it, move on to the next one. And just chalk it up to like, this wasn't the right one or it wasn't the right time, right? So no, you did a great job, I thought.
Thank you.
But y'all are done for the evening. We'll start over tomorrow with everything we have left, and action plans is pretty much all that's left, except for also your portfolios, but you can be working on those on your own time or whatever. So bye.
Also, if you guys can fill out the 30-second feedback that I posted on Slack, that would be great.
It is, no,
it's not. No.
Because I need the feedback too, right?
Yes,
Because I need the feedback to know how I'm doing as a coach.
we'll get that for
You
you.
make it anonymous.
We'll get that.